Okay, I'm sure we've all heard like a TV commercial or a radio advertisement where it gets to the point where the fast talker comes on and he starts speeding through a bunch of information that like might be relevant, might not be. And this reminded me of this quote by Rooney that nothing in fine print is ever good news. And I believe this to be true because if they wanted everybody to know about it, they would not have put it in fine print because fine print is smaller because it's harder to read and most people just glance over it because they can't read easily. And 3 examples of this would be utility bills, loan documents, and like medicine that you see in commercials. And utility bills, a lot of times you'll get your bill and there'll be like the price in bold, and most people just look at that. And they don't look at like the smaller font of the things, all the things that tally up the amounts to your bill, your subtotal bill. And a lot of times they're just like government taxes or like things like that. But sometimes there'll be like even like small print like describing what the tax is, and then you'll get sometimes in your bill they'll say that this tax is going up in such and such month, so in a couple months that you'll get a new bill, and then you'll wonder why is it so much more expensive than in the previous bill. They stated explicitly in fine print that it's going to go up, essentially. Another example would be loan documents. Recently, my brother purchased a new car, and I was in the room when he was filling out all the paperwork, and they go sign here, you know. And I was wondering, I was just looking, and he was just signing these things just to get out of there so he can drive his new car, you know. But I was like asking the guy, I go, well, what's this document for? And there's a bunch of like fine print about like if you don't pay, they can do things, you know, repossess your house, you know, take a loan against your house. I think in the case of a car, they just take your car away, probably. Another example would be medicine and commercials. Like, we've all seen those like depression medicine commercials where they get to the they start talking about all the side effects of the drug, and like sometimes it seems like it's not really helping at all. Like it'll say like increases thoughts of suicide or things like that. And another thing that always gets me is they say that the medicine is not designed for children or young adults, and yet like in the statement before they said the thoughts of suicide and risk of death can increase in children and young adults. Doesn't make sense because they just said it's for like on kids certain effects can happen and it's not for them. So it makes sense to me. So in summation, I'd like to say that fine print in utility bills, loan documents, and things of these sorts is not really a good thing, and it's bad news, as Ricky says.
Patrick, there's a lot of stuff in here that works really well. I like the reference that you have at the beginning to commonality that everybody can relate to. You identified the topic and you've got a clear thesis based on that. There's an excellent layout of what the structure is going to be, so you're in good shape there. Also, I thought you had good points. On each of those points, you had examples that you could talk about that were interesting, that the audience could relate to. And even though they all make the same point, it didn't sound repetitive because there's enough difference in each of those illustrations that people can enjoy hearing something on each of those points. The issues that I think are a little bit problematic for you, your voice, I think you drop out your voice a few times, and you may be trying to do it for effect to make a transition from one point to another, but I think it happens too early in a couple of spots. And for instance, the whole second point of your speech sounded like you were almost whispering it, and you need to be a little bit more consistent on that. So the projection of your voice could be a little bit better. There's pretty good variety in your voice while you're speaking, though, and it's very fluent while you're speaking. It's not like there's a bunch of hesitancies. You know what you're saying. You get from point to point very smoothly, so all of that's good. Just remember the size of the room, and the energy level can come down if you don't put a little bit more projection behind your voice. So it wasn't that there was anything wrong with the way you were talking, except that, like I said, the energy level felt a little out of it. You look engaged while you're speaking to us. There are a few good indicators while you're talking. I thought generally the audience contact was solid, although in this case I mentioned in the past that some people on the right side seem like they're getting neglected. I thought you did a nice job focusing on this side of the audience. Still, bigger group, so maybe a little bit more on that side. Not that they were being ignored, but all the handsome people over here are being favored over all of the lovely people over there, and you don't want to play favorites with your audience if you can help it. You stand confidently for the most part. I think you could perhaps maybe do some indicators with some body movements, because I don't think your anxiety's coming out there. I don't think that's a problem. But I didn't think anything that you did was an issue to worry about, just something to add to the speech. And I thought there was a very good summary as well. Thank you.